Welcome to the Intrazone, a Roadmap Pit Stop May 2024 edition. This is a bonus monthly show that answers that burning question in your mind. What's rolling out now for SharePoint and related technology in Microsoft 365? I'm Mark Cashman, Senior Product Manager at Microsoft, here to help set the ongoing record straight. This month, I pulled some audio from one of our core SharePoint breakout sessions for Microsoft Build, where you're going to hear from CJ Tan from the SharePoint team introduce what we're working on from a custom Copilot's perspective, aka Click to Copilot. It's truly exciting to see how accessible the team is making it for you, the everyone you, so that you can create and build a Copilot. Dare I say, configure a Copilot easily. Beyond the breadth of custom co-piloting, we'll focus on everything that landed this month, a few related items, a few highlights from Build 2024 beyond custom co-pilots, and the always fun teasers looking into next month. Now, before we get into the main course of this podcast, let me introduce to you a new appetizer we call the Community News Desk. This is a place to connect, collaborate, and share, and discover from experts and community leaders. We want to welcome you to the Community News Desk. This is a new place to discover news, events, product series, and insights from around the world, plus stay up to date with shows like Mondays at Microsoft, our event guides for events that we're supporting, on-demand content, and more. Check out and become a member of this new community within the Microsoft Tech community. Just go to aka.ms/community news desk, all one word. Go to the Community News Desk, become a member, and find that place to connect, collaborate, and share. All right, back to this month's Chef Special. This podcast is your 30-minute pit stop to stay ahead of the ever-curving Microsoft 365 roadmap. It is time to get informed about all the tech that rolled out in May 2024. And we are going to start with employee engagement, that broader notion of using the technology to reach one to many, one to everyone possibly. And we're going to start this particular episode with 3 file-related items. That's items that improve your experience of working with files across SharePoint, OneDrive, and Teams. So, files-related item number 1. Microsoft Viva is adding the OneDrive file card so that you can have the OneDrive experience within the Viva Connections dashboard. This will help you as an organization add a view of OneDrive files that were recently accessed, shared, or marked as a favorite by somebody. It's a really easy window into OneDrive that gives the individuals, everybody at your company, a more personalized view into the files of importance, with the ability to click on View More Files, like you're clicking the See More things like this in the flow of the Viva Connections dashboard, where you can program a great experience for all your employees, one that, of course, adheres to making it personal, making it dynamic, and, of course, giving people access to the files that they have access to. You can add the OneDrive Files card to your Viva Connections dashboard if you have the dashboard feature on. It will be and appear there out of the box of the dashboard if you haven't configured it otherwise. And certainly it's yours to control and manage whether you want to use this particular offering to customize and add to your dashboard or remove it if that's your preference. Moving on to files-related item number 2. We have some updates to the file viewer experience when you open a non-Office file in OneDrive and SharePoint. This is the file viewer for Microsoft 365 that offers a quick and easy way to view your files in OneDrive for the web and SharePoint in Microsoft 365. It's a lot more useful. Hopefully it's a lot more intuitive with some of the user interface that we've adjusted with a new toolbar, some new panes as they fly out, and some collaboration features. And this is supported across the 300 file types for previews that we support within the service. After the rollout, the new file viewer will have a dark mode background, an updated command bar, and file navigation arrows positioned in the middle of the page. There's a lot to appreciate in terms of a consistent way of previewing files, support of over that 300 file types, and just a new experience to make it a lot more intuitive and easy when you work with your files. And files related item number 3 is an improvement for Microsoft Teams with the ability to link files from SharePoint sites from within the Teams mobile app. Linking to a file when on the go has to be one of my favorite time savers. To not have to crack open the full desktop experience or your laptop to simply add a link to a file in a chat or channel. Now in Teams for iOS and Android, you can browse, multi-select, and link files from SharePoint sites within a chat and channel conversation. You simply tap on the plus icon to open the Compose tray, and then tap on the paperclip icon to link to the file or files. Boom! What do you think about that final files relation item? I think it's great, and will save you a ton of time in Teams, mobile to be specific. Okay, moving beyond files innovation, let us talk about the SharePoint Advanced Tenant Rename feature. For organizations that need to change their SharePoint domain name due to rebranding, mergers, acquisitions, or consolidations, we now offer an advanced tenant rename that's available to you through the SharePoint Advanced Management offering. This gives organizations that have up to 100,000 total sites the ability to change their domain name. This also offers greater control with the ability to prioritize up to 4,000 sites for early execution within the rename, so you can sequence out and better approach how it is that you want to manage the transition. If you choose to use Advanced Tenant Rename, this will result in all SharePoint and OneDrive URLs showing the new domain name. Some workloads may need additional actions after a rename. For those not intending to form a rename, there will be no change. There's a lot of great information for admins to learn more about how you change your SharePoint domain name. That brings us into the realm of teamwork. Let's cover some features that shipped in May that really focus on the one-to-one, one-to-many type collaboration. First, SharePoint plus Stream brings a really nice new integration offering called the new video page templates. And these are rolling out now, ready to give you the ability to create video pages and news posts directly from the Stream web app. This is for the first time you can create a page outside of SharePoint for video stored on a SharePoint site. So you're in the Stream web app. If you have editing access, you can select the new Create Video News Post button under the Videos Share drop-down menu. Then review the new templates that are available and select the one that you prefer, and voila! You're on your way to creating a new SharePoint page or news post with the desired video or videos and the ability to add further context to include related documents, and of course to design the page to your liking before publishing it. This is a unique way to create a page and a natural amplification method when looking at it from amplifying the impact of a video, boosting its visibility, and refining the context around it. Next, for teamwork, a Microsoft Teams offering that just couldn't be better. Now, you can auto-create Microsoft loop spaces to share meeting content. So what does this mean? You're in Microsoft Teams as a meeting organizer, and you've got a set of recurring meetings. You'll be prompted into the chat to create a Microsoft Loop workspace after the meeting ends, which leverages your instance of SharePoint Embedded to store the new Loop workspace. Beyond storage, the value is the Loop workspace will help you gather shared meeting content into a central, durable Loop workspace to enable ongoing collaboration over time. As a recurring meeting series continues, additional content shared in the meeting chat will be added automatically to the initial Loop workspace. And over time, the content in the chat accrues with things like meeting recordings, Microsoft 365 content like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, whiteboards, Loop meeting notes, Loop pages, and other shared content, all in that central location. And Microsoft will support additional content types so you can add even more content to that now shared ongoing Loop workspace. Note for this initial rollout, this feature will be enabled for meeting series with 3 to 50 invitees. Later, we will release support for greater than 50 invitees and for modern groups. Next up, SharePoint document libraries are getting an improved version history control. This is currently in preview where you can opt in. The version history, as I hope you know, is a critical part of SharePoint's built-in data protection that gives you visibility on how a file has evolved over time, and people can easily revert to an older version if the business needs change or if the files are damaged by anybody to be able to recover from that error or maybe potentially from malware. Version storage controls allow you as admins to set an appropriate level of recoverability and auditability for you to control and manage what is right for your organization. So based on some strong customer feedback, we will release an enhanced version storage control so that you can meet the needs at the efficiency and at the scale that's required for your tenant. We're introducing some new version controls that help admins and content owners reduce your storage footprint driven by the low-value file versions. Previously, document library owners could set the count-based version limits at the library level. Now, there's a lot of detail that's in the choices that you can manage and control version history throughout broader than just a document library, off of which I'm going to link to a blog that has a lot of the information about what kind of control and management aspects you can put in to manage and control your version history. This is both admin documentation and end user documentation. Last for teamwork is the Microsoft Graph API for SharePoint pages is now generally available. This is a great milestone for the team, and we are pleased to announce the GA for the Graph API for SharePoint pages in all cloud instances. This is a significant milestone in our commitment to providing useful and flexible tools for SharePoint developers. The new API allows developers to programmatically interact with SharePoint pages and news posts, offering capabilities such as listing, getting, creating, editing, publishing, and deleting pages. With the V1 release, we are introducing a targeted scope of features based on comprehensive research, use case analysis, and product scoping, which also means that there is more to come beyond V1. So if you have any feedback as a developer, if you start using the Pages API through Microsoft Graph, we would love to hear about your experience. This moves us on to the related technology section, and bear in mind, this has got a lot of content in it because we're going to lean in and talk about some of the announcements from Build. But first, a new feature for Outlook and Teams is the ability to respond to meetings with Follow. We are introducing a new meeting response option called Follow that allows people to be invited to a meeting and let the organizer know that they can't attend but would like to stay informed. Follow goes beyond the traditional accept, tentative, and decline responses. Follow is for those busy individuals like yourselves with a lot of meetings on their calendar and maybe some meeting conflicts. The Follow is the ideal meeting response option when you can't attend a meeting, but you still want to stay engaged and have access to the post-meeting information in Teams. So if you choose to follow a meeting and you choose that as a response to a meeting invitation, it will inform the organizers, letting them know that you can attend but want to stay engaged and have access. It'll free up some time because the meeting gets marked on your calendar as free, so you can better prioritize your time, and you'll still retain access to the meeting and chat. And it will help you stay informed, reminding the meeting organizers to record and take collaborative notes during the meeting, and you'll receive a notification when the recap is available after the meeting. So after the rollout, the invitation responses that you'll see as options when you reply will be yes, no, and follow. The maybe response is still there, and it'll be accessible through the 3-dot menu. Now, I know a lot of you have been following this one on the roadmap, and now it's time to follow it to fruition, which is AKA now. You can follow a meeting in Outlook and Teams, and I tell you, you will be glad that you did. Next up for related items, introducing organizational messages. This is in preview in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. We all know that effective communications play a crucial role in empowering every person in your organization to achieve more. If that isn't a reason enough, in the digital-first work environment, admins and organizational leaders fall right into the category of needing tools to reach the right people with the right messages through the right surfaces at the right time. So with this in mind, we're excited to announce the public preview of organizational messages in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center so you can reach out to others in your organization through native, branded, and customized experiences right within Microsoft products that they use every day. For example, to send messages to the Windows Spotlight location. It's a great way to inform others. It's a great way to reach them right where it's the most visible, right where they're already working. All right, this is now the time when we're going to dig into Microsoft Build. The next related item brings a lot of related items in the form of announcements. Microsoft Build 2024 is now in the rearview mirror, and it brought a lot of news for developers and, of course, beyond developers because we made a lot of announcements that were good for everybody. I first want to refer you to a link that I'll put in both the show notes and the blog, which is the Microsoft Build 2024 Book of News. This is where you can go and review everything that Microsoft announced across the whole portfolio of products. I'm going to center in and narrow down a little bit to what feels right to cover on the intrazone. And we're going to start with an audio snippet from CJ Tan, who is a principal group product manager from the SharePoint team, during her Build 2024 breakout session titled Integrating Your Bots and Your Copilot Experiences Natively into SharePoint and Viva Connections. I say the title alone says it all and indeed entices everyone to learn more. So let's learn more by hearing more from CJ Tan.
First, with Copilots and SharePoint. So I'm going to introduce a set of new capabilities I like to call Click to Copilot. And this is because we're trying to make it really easy for you to create and extend Copilots that help you and your team right within SharePoint. So with zero code, you'll be able to soon create these custom Copilots from SharePoint. This is a capability that we're targeting all users in your organization and not just administrators or developers. So why SharePoint? So SharePoint is where we know that you're storing your organizational knowledge, not just things that are recent and current that you want authority on when you share them, but also things that you collaborate with your team on. So these are the assets that you create together. So with this, we want to be able to introduce custom copilots here so that you can help yourself and your team with a specific purpose. So basically take Microsoft Chat, all of that power, scope it down to a site or a set of documents or a folder or your document library and create something that you can use over and over again to help your team. And this we want to do without any specialized skills or technical skills, because really you know what the content is, you know who you're working with, and you know what you need to get done to do that. So this is called Click to Copilot to try and express how easy it's going to be. It's going to be easy to create, it's going to be simple to use, and it's going to save you time because you're going to get the right help that you need from this Copilot that you create. But of course, if you're creating something, is it actually something that's helpful? Like, is it going to get used? That's really the important thing. So we're introducing a couple ways that you can actually interact with these custom copilots. First, it's around interacting with them on SharePoint. So what you see on the left here is a new entry point for Copilot on a SharePoint site. When you open that, it's got this switcher that lets you pick the copilots that have been created for that site. Now, this is all site owner controlled, so you can pick a default copilot, so something that you would like people to interact with when they come to your site. And then you can introduce all these other custom copilots that you've created for purpose-built functionality for the people that come to visit. This will also be a place where we think that when you're creating your own copilots, we'll show it here. So this is something that we're introducing now, but there's lots of time for feedback. So we're going to be inviting lots of customer feedback as we introduce this product as well. What you see on the right-hand side is how you would interact with this in Teams. So we're going to give you an easy way to share this copilot that you created within a group chat or within a one-on-one chat as well.
It is always great to hear from CJ, and it's really exciting, this unveiling of this latest concept project that's going to be a wonderful tool for you in the future, the ability to create custom copilots from SharePoint. I encourage you to view the full session, so not only can you hear a little bit, but you will see it in action. It truly is one of the most intriguing things the SharePoint team is working on currently in regards to AI for your intranet. The session is demo heavy. You're going to see a lot, discover a lot of how custom copilots play a key role in SharePoint and Viva Connections, with a focus on Copilot Studio to power further additional custom copilots, to package them, and to publish them across the Microsoft 365 apps and services ecosystem. I wanted to add a quick note here in what CJ was sharing. CJ and team enabled our whole team to try it out in an early alpha state a few months ago during our all-hands meeting in Redmond. And now it's a time that we can talk about it. So I will tell you, it's a very simple interface. My test was to create an event copilot for an upcoming event that my team was supporting, sort of an interactive chatbot grounded in a few documents on the main event site. So where you would go to interact with this copilot was one of our team's team sites. I pointed it specifically at our event FAQ document. I pointed it at the Know Before You Go PowerPoint, our master sessions list, so a Microsoft list that was stored in that same SharePoint site, and our pre-event guide that I had published as a blog, but I also had the source of a Word document in that site. So I pointed the Copilot, click to create Copilot off of that, and it worked. And I wrote 0 code. I can't even write 1 or 2 codes, so 0 is the right level of coding for me. And this initial click to Copilot was really just that. I clicked, and I copiloted. And so did a lot of other people in the room across a lot of other different scenarios for us to test out this alpha version. So it was early, and early working bits were working in this instance of SharePoint in our own tenant. And it's really great to see the progress that the team has made since even just a few months ago. And I can't wait for when this is ready for everybody to have that ability and capability in hand. Until then, let's just collectively say, go CJ and team, go. Okay, let's take a few minutes to gain insights together on some other SharePoint-y and Teams-y things that came from Build 2024. First, in the world of SharePoint news, there was the Create Custom Copilots from SharePoint. There was a great blog. Course was in the keynote with Jeff Teeper. There's a lot of ways to go learn about it. I'll have links and more so that you can learn even more and see it in action, how to integrate your bots and copilots into SharePoint and Viva Connections. Lots of great content and a lot of great stake in the ground to say this is what we're working on. Another element that we provide a little bit more insight into progress on was SharePoint Embedded has reached general availability. The SharePoint Embedded offering gives you a new way to build file and document-centric apps. And it's also a way to integrate advanced Microsoft 365 features into your apps, including full-featured collaborative functions from Office, Purview's security and compliance tools, and Copilot capabilities. In support of SharePoint Embedded going GA, of course, there was a really nice blog post with a lot of depth. So if you're interested in SharePoint Embedded, know that there's a blog with your name on it. Next, Microsoft 365 Archive is also now generally available with newly enhanced version controls that are now in public preview. Collectively, this gives you a way to store or trim away inactive data as part of a proper data lifecycle management journey, keeping your data secure and relevant in the age of AI in a cost-effective manner. Next, we put a stake in the ground of the next milestone for Microsoft 365 Backup. It is now in public preview and gives you an unparalleled performant recovery experience for your critical active data, helping you maintain business continuity in very, very quick speeds to get you back up. Parallel to that, we also talked about Microsoft 365 Backup Storage, moving soon into public preview, that gives developers a way to provide the same benefits of the native backup solution through their own integrated application. So a lot around archive and backup storage and how we store things in terms of building your own application experiences on top of that core platform offering. All right, that is the SharePoint news in a nutshell. Let us move to talk about the Teams excitement at Build. And the big one, which was probably one of the bigger ticket items for all of Microsoft, was Team Copilot. Team Copilot expands Copilot beyond a personal assistant to act as a valuable team member, participating and contributing along with the whole team. And you're always in control, assigning tasks or responsibilities to Copilot so that the whole team can be more productive, collaborative, and creative together. It's available where you collaborate in Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Loop, Microsoft Planner, and more. You can think of Team Copilot as like a meeting facilitator, helping manage the agenda, taking notes while anyone in the meeting can co-author, or as a group collaborator, aka get more out of chats, surfacing the most important information, tracking action items, and addressing unresolved issues. Or think of Team Copilot as a project manager to create and assign tasks, tracking deadlines, and notifying team members when their input is needed. I will put a link in the blog so you can watch the opening Microsoft Build keynote and see how Team Copilot was represented and announced by Satya Nadella, Rajesh Jha, Jeff Teeper, and Kevin Scott. There's a lot more to learn about Team Copilot, especially when you put it in the context of the broader Microsoft Copilot offering. Now, the last Teams news at Build is truly one for developers. There's a lot of new Teams enhancements to support developer productivity and collaboration. Whether you work in GitHub, Jira, Datadog, or other development tools, Teams can help you be more productive, stay connected with your team, and even streamline product development. All of this is possible because Teams brings together your work with the way that you want to collaborate. For example, sharing code blocks, taking actions directly from the app, and even bringing a bit of fun into the workplace. We continue to broaden our ecosystem and tooling and capabilities for developers, and we'll introduce new integrations later this year, such as Postman and BotCube. All right, we're not done with Build just yet, and since I'm a fan of Surface machines, I currently use the Surface Pro 9, and it is my fourth Surface Pro over the year, starting with the thicker V1 from yesteryear. And I know I may drink the Kool-Aid a little bit being a Microsoft employee, but I truly have always enjoyed my Surface Pro and have never been disappointed with it, especially either I'm working at home or on the go. It's a great machine, and it's something that's a nice form factor for me. So what is new with Surface coming out of Build? The company introduced Copilot Plus PCs. That's Copilot Plus PCs. It's a PC for the AI era. These are business-ready devices that utilize powerful new silicon with a neural processing unit, MPUs that we're all hearing about, capable of more than 40 trillion operations per second. I really don't know what that even means, except for they're fast and they're capable to do and handle a lot of things that we're asking our machines to do for us now. And like all new Windows 11 devices, Copilot Plus PCs are easy to deploy and manage, compatible with your existing technology, and designed to be secure by default. So a little bit more about Copilot Plus PCs and what they offer, the size and how it increases your productivity and enhances communication. There are features specifically being released at the same time. One of them is called Recall, which enables you to find mission-critical information faster. Another feature called Live Captions with real-time translation for your video calls, recordings, and stream content. And the Windows Studio effects will help people put their best face forward in video calls and minimize distraction. It's a lot of news to digest. I'm still getting up to speed with what Copilot PCs offer, Copilot Plus PCs. There's a great article to see them and learn a lot more, of which I've added it to my future want list when my PC refresh date comes about, to hope that I will have a Copilot Plus PC refresh in the future. The last thing, truly the last thing about Build is It is binge time, devs. It is binge time. There are now 282 videos on demand. If you go to the Microsoft Build 2024 playlist on YouTube, it's one giant playlist starting with the keynote all the way down to every single breakout session. There's a lot of content to consume. Find what you want and consume it. Binge it. Do it. Think of it as the .Netflix of the future. This is a time to binge a whole lot of great content that's now available at your fingertips. Okay, before we move to the teasers, I want to sneak one more thing in that came and is appropriate for the related section. And I think it's something that applies to everyone at some point in our lives, maybe even right now, and that is accessibility. May was a big month for accessibility. There were a lot of advancements across hardware, developer tools and apps, and mental health, all powered by AI. I'm going to include a link to the full blog, including a fascinating video about how AI-powered tools are creating new possibilities for people with disabilities. The video will show you how the iconic Rijksmuseum in Amsterdam is making art more accessible using the AI to create rich descriptions for 1 million works of art, greatly improving the experience for blind and low vision visitors. It's a really great video, and it's a great window into how technology can help at the level and layer of accessibility. I put out a thanks to Jenny Leigh Fleury, who is our Microsoft Chief Accessibility Officer, both for the team and for her blog that puts a lot of this into perspective and showcases what it is that's come out recently to better that accessibility offering. If you're still on Twitter, they also have the MSFT enable handle, and there's a great site that I will link to with all of our accessibility capabilities in one website. There's a lot to learn, and there's a lot to be grateful for when you need it. Okay, it is now time for the June 2024 teasers, and I've got a pretty high certainty of what's coming, so I want to share two with you. Two items that are coming in June 2024. Teaser item number 1. Microsoft Teams, there's a new file image previews in Messages. So you add a file to the Messages, you get a nice new preview experience. More to come on that one next month. Teaser number 2, Microsoft Lists, the ability to add approvals to any list. And a preview of a preview is, this also applies in the future to libraries. But the team is starting with Microsoft Lists, adding approvals to any list. I'll let you know more about that and libraries in the future, in future roadmaps ahead. And that is it for the June 2024 teasers coming next month. We've added a lot of Learn More links per feature and a lot of links because of Build, plus an important set of resources in the show notes and in the corresponding blog post on the Microsoft Tech community published to the SharePoint community blog. I hope you've enjoyed this roadmap pit stop. It is time to stretch your legs and relax, knowing that you are all caught up. If anything still leaves you scratching your head with open questions or concerns, please send us your thoughts and comments to theintrozone@microsoft.com. We are here to put our and your best change management foot forward. We thank you for taking that step with us into the cloud month after month. This is Mark Cashman saying, build what you want to build on the roadmap ahead.